Hello, Deadlings. Welcome back to Exploring the Entity, where killers, survivors, and secrets collide. I'm your co host, Mark.
And Ducati. Today's episode will be focusing on Killer's twins through Vecna's best and worst qualities.
Alright, first off, we're starting with twins. I think I've genuinely, genuinely played this killer twice in my entire time playing this game, and one of probably both times we're going for an adept, so that's about it.
Alrighty, for me, twins, I would say a good or best quality is just the concept. It was very interesting how they, first of all, came up with a character like this, and then how they decided to incorporate it. Um, Worst quality, I would say, is it's just kind of weird to play twins, like to be switching on and off and just, I don't know, just kind of like getting, used to it. It's just kind of weird. It's strange. Alrighty, next we're gonna go on to Trickster.
Um, I actually enjoy this killer. I'd say his best quality is just he's really fun to play. I can understand why he's annoying, but yes, I do think he's enjoyable to play. Worst quality, I mean, if you run out of blades, he just becomes an M1 killer, or you just lose chase. Pretty much. That's about it.
For me, I like Trickster. His concept, his idea, especially his rework, was very much so needed. I His best quality, honestly, currently is his map. His map is so good looking. It's such a very well visually pleasing map. Um, Worst quality for him, I would also have to say, just the issue of, oh, you ran out of blades and you did this during chase. Okay. You just went from a god to, oh, great. Now I'm an M1 killer. Alrighty, we're gonna go on over to Nemesis.
Uh, this used to be literally my main. I only played this killer for probably about a year. He's a really fun killer. I love getting really like interesting shots with the tail whip. I don't know, and zombie plays can be hilarious. I mean, obvious downside: his zombies kind of just usually do nothing other than slightly annoy the survivors. Like they don't usually get a hit on them, but it's usually just enough that there's a zombie walking towards you on your gen, and it's super annoying.
For me, Nemi's best quality has to be his zombies during 2v8. With the maps being so big and so many zombies usually covering each corner of the map, honest godsend. And he is forever my 2v8 main. I don't think that will ever change. Um, Worst quality for him could be just like, I don't know. Sometimes you're playing Nemi, and he just kind of feels like a little weird. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if anyone's played enough Nemi that sometimes you're kind of like you're playing him, and I don't know. It feels like there's something just weird going on. I don't know how to explain it. Like sometimes he just randomly feels slower than he is. I don't know. It's just a very strange thing that happens at times, to me at least. Next up we have Cinnabite. So for me, Cinnabite, honestly, I think he's a pretty interesting mechanic, at least with Chain Hunt. I think that's a pretty interesting concept. Um, well, obviously sad he's no longer licensed, so I would say that's one of the worst. And sad that he didn't at least get a little something something like Myers did right before they removed his license. I feel like he could have potentially gotten something since, he was no longer going to be licensed.
I started playing a little bit of Cenobite just because I normally play a lot of Nurse, and I've heard that the chain can be very similar to Nurse, so I was like, alright, I can try this. And I did find him fun, but I also felt like I was using chains and they were doing nothing. Like, that's just my biggest downside. Like, I would hit a survivor with like a crazy chain shot and it just didn't really make a difference. He got out in like 2 seconds. So I don't know. I'm like, every time I play him, I don't feel like I'm really getting any value. Sometimes I don't know. I'm probably just bad with him. And now we're gonna be moving on to artist. I don't particularly like playing this killer. I don't know why. I just feel like I'm awful at it. Cause I don't know. I just can't. I've seen so many people explain a lot of things about how to be good at this killer. I genuinely don't know. Obviously, a good thing is being able to hit crows from across the map. And downside is just if you don't hit any crows, it's kind of GG's.
For me, I think one of Artist's best qualities is that she's such a good, like, what I consider is a middle point, as in, like, for really high MMR, really high houred players, she's fun. But it's also the same thing for low players and new players. She gives this. She has a power that is not technically difficult to understand. It's difficult to, like, obviously have that mind game in your head, but that comes with just skill and hours of playing the game. But her power itself, it's not hard, it's not difficult, and it's not underwhelming, if that makes sense. Because usually, at least once in a game, you're gonna get at least one crow hit, regardless. Worst, I would say, is this might be a bit of a controversial thing to say, but my worst is she gets a lot of skins. Which it kind of feels like she's kind of robbing everyone else of skins. Um, and at least on one or two occasions, she's gotten skins that are just like, this makes no sense for it to be given to her when it could definitely be given to someone else. So yeah, next up we have Onryo.
I I literally just like 20 minutes ago finished my Onryo Adept. So I mean, I do enjoy Onryo. I don't enjoy her in a high MMR though, because she struggles. But obviously you can teleport, and that's like amazing. Gives condemned. If you get them full condemned, you can just mori. It's insane.
Yeah, so for me, worst quality is how short her lunge hit is. Like, on any average normal killer, you would have definitely gotten that hit, but oh, oh my god, you're playing Onryo, so you didn't get that hit. Um, Best quality, I would say, is just how, if used correctly, obviously, just like any other killer, she's honestly pretty cool at psyching out during loops, and in places where you can't fully see her. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like her power gives you a little bit of everything, because in her power you can obviously jump to TVs, so that can help with gen pressure. Um, you can manifest, demanifest. That can help during chases. So, anyways, I feel like in the four categories that go into playing killer, her powers give you a little bit in at least each category. So I don't know. I feel like in a way, she gives you a little bit of everything, while also not being too overpowered at anything, if that makes sense. All right, next up we have Dredge.
So far I've played an okay amount of this killer, but my favorite thing is definitely just being able to teleport. I mean, the coolest thing you can ever do on this killer is teleport to a locker that someone's hiding in. But the worst quality is I absolutely despise playing against this killer.
Yeah, for me, I've got to start this with worst qualities. I absolutely positively hate playing against Dredge. Oh my god. Like, there is, I just feel like there's no hope. There's no hope for me when I'm playing against Dredge. And it's unrealistic to just not do anything for all of Nightfall. So I don't know. I feel like there's just during Nightfall you either hide in the corner like a coward or you're just gonna get picked. That it you ain't got any options. Um but best quality is I think he's got like a very, very cool, interesting power. Like the concept of Dredge, while not fun at all to play against, it is very cool in concept, and I think he honestly gets some pretty sick nasties. Just overall from him being out, he's gotten he's definitely one of those killers that you're like, oh my god, he pulled up, and it's just like, oh, I don't know. Um, Definitely this is the killer that, out of all the killers, this is the one that can never, ever, 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 ever be in 2v8. Because then 2v8 will never be played again. Alrighty, next up we got Mastermind.
This has got to be the, in my opinion, one of the best 2v8 killers in the game. Genuinely. It is so fast to down somebody, and it is just an amazing killer. I cannot, however, play him in 1v4s. I don't know why, but I get demolished in 1v4s, so that's my thing. He's so easily counterable, but people in 2v8 just can't do it, so that's yeah.
For me, Mastermind, he's just, I don't know. I don't feel like I have like a best or a worst overall, at least on 1v4. Um, I'm not particularly like pissed off when I load into a 1v4 with him. I personally wouldn't play him, but in 2v8, so not surprising. Me and my co-host, you know, we go in with that Resident Evil vibes. Him on Mastermind and me on Nemi, and it's honestly anytime we've ever tried changing it up, we never ever ever win our 2v8 matches. So I gotta say, maybe Mastermind and Nemi are just the way to go 2v8 wise. And next up we have Knight.
Wow, you're so cool. You're not even actually playing the game. Literally just letting the game play for you. But no. Playing as Knight is so confusing, because if you want to be mindless, you can play him and just start spamming guards, not knowing what they do or what they're for. And that's fine. And some people do that, and it's really annoying. But when you're a good Knight player, it's disgusting. Because you know which guards to throw when and how, and it is not nice.
So, one of my best is let's be honest. I gotta ask the question. So, how many people open Knight for the first time? Completely did not read a single description of what the guards do, and spent a good few matches just throwing down guards whenever it came up. Yep, Your girl's guilty of it. Um,
I
and
think everyone is when they first start.
and honestly, the funny part is that like not a huge amount of the time, it never not goes well for you. Somehow, when you start throwing down guards without knowing what they do, an okay portion of the time, you actually get value from it somehow. And that's how you piss off players. Um, anyways, with that, I have to ask us all to just take a moment and think, what would happen if night came to 2v8?
Outrage.
What would happen? Would it be Legion kill switch, or would it be a revolutionary moment for 2v8? That is an actual question I'm actually gonna have all of you think about.
No, outrage.
All right,
Outrage.
next up, we're gonna switch on over to Skull Merchant.
Semi recently, I wanted to test this against my co-host, and I played a custom, and I wanted to play the Skull Merchant build where you just keep a 3-gen all game and refuse to let it go, and it was absolutely nasty. It didn't really work as well as it would have worked in the past, but it was not nice. So, I mean, obviously you can do very crazy camping. You can camp totems, you can run totem builds on her, you can absolutely destroy 3-gen, doesn't matter.
For me personally, I've never really played Skull Merchant, as in I got her adept and then I've never played Skull Merchant again. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like everything that happened with Skull Merchant throughout the years. I don't know. I don't like her. I don't hate her. I just don't feel for her. I forget about her. She's an afterthought to me personally. And I think the entire time I've played DBD, I've gotten more twin players than I've gotten Skull Merchant players. So, I don't know if that says anything. Alrighty, next up, Singularity.
I also just recently finished this adept, so that's pretty cool. But this one, however, took me like literally 20 tries. It was the worst adept I've ever done. So I dislike playing this killer because it's genuinely a skill ceiling that I have not learned at all. So yeah, no, I don't like playing it, and I've only ever played against him like twice, so I have literally no way to really know how he plays. So I just don't like him.
For me, I don't have much of an opinion on him because again, I did his adept and then I just haven't played him. And I don't really tend like the limited of times that I did play him. I honestly focus more on just M1ing than putting down, things all around and all that. My opinion of him is I would like to see more Singularity main streamers to be able to get more kind of tips and tricks on how to play the killer, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's how I feel about Singularity. Next up, we have Alien.
He feels really much like you need the survivor to be caught in the middle of an action for you to do anything with the killer. Because unless if you're going against someone who's genuinely stupid and they don't crouch around like anything, then, well, you're going to get the hit. But if they're not dumb, they're going to crouch it, and your only chance of getting a hit is during a vault, and they'll just genuinely dodge it. I don't know. But, yeah.
I feel with Alien, all aspects of him besides the tail attack, I think the rest of him, it needs some updating, some tweaks, some like, all right, let's actually bring this killer into the 2026 reality instead
Yeah,
of
what are those tunnels?
instead of like leaving him in the past where unfortunately it seems like he's been kind of left behind. Um, I feel like he's one of those killers that could really benefit from a comeback, kind of rework kind of situation. Because honestly, I don't think I think his power is the only thing that is holding players back from playing him. Because there's definitely enough people who like the Alien franchise. There's enough people who his perks are not bad. They're not horrible perks. There's definitely worse perks out there. So I think his power is honestly the thing that's holding people back, which is kind of sad because I think I like having him in the game. So next up we have Chucky.
When this killer first came out, I absolutely despised him because I played against him on day one, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the first PTBs I ever joined. So I played against him in the PTB, and yet that was before they added the little footsteps, so you couldn't actually like tell where he was coming from, and it made playing against him absolutely horrible. But I mean, ever since they added the footsteps, he's a lot easier to play against. Still annoying because, undetectable. Everyone hates stealth killers, so get them out of here.
I would say in essence the physical words used to describe his power are not bad. Does that make sense? Now, actually playing against him, Jesus Christ. I hate playing against Chucky, and might be a little controversial on this point, but how many killers do we have in the game now? And our big idea was, let's bring this guy to 2v8. Really? Really? I mean, again, I'm gonna state, really? We could have done better. We could have done better. Just gonna leave it at that. Next up, Unknown.
Uh, Unknown, I've played him a few times. I enjoy the fact that he seems to have a skill ceiling that is reachable if you just keep playing him for a while, but it's just learning the bounces. That's the most difficult part about him. But I'd say that's just an upside. I mean, you get to learn something. A downside, he's genuinely tough to play sometimes, but you can really mind game, and it makes him hard to play.
I would say best for him is that he doesn't bring like real anger to play against. Worst thing, I I've played him a couple of times. I still don't fully understand it. Like, it, you would think in essence his power is not difficult. Like, the concept is not difficult. Actually putting it in play against Survivor, that's where you kind of start hitting that rough patch. So, yeah, that's how I feel about Unknown. On to Lich.
I genuinely very much so enjoy this killer. I mean, he has the probably one of the biggest kits in the entire game of just everything you can do. It's insane. You have aura reveal, you have damage, you have blocking things. It's just actually insane. The downside, he can be a bit like tough to learn because obviously you have to know when and how to use all of those spells. It's just if you keep learning and you keep playing him, it makes a lot more sense pretty quickly. I'd say he's semi easy to learn, but you just have to keep playing him.
I think I agree as well. He has enough going on that he's got a little bit of everything. He can do more than just one thing at a time, and it's not so like annoying to deal with when you're playing Survivor. Um, for for me, I would honestly I would like to see him more often, believe it or not, compared to some other options that we see pretty frequently. Uh, and maybe a little controversial, but it would have been cool if he had a map. It would have been very interesting to see how a lich themed, D&D themed kind of map would have actually played out. Next up, we got the Dark Lord.
I don't know. I used to really enjoy this killer, and I really enjoyed the teleport feature from the bats. When I first started playing him, I ran those add-ons to make that cooldown less so that I could teleport more often. But I very quickly realized that the downside is usually the teleports aren't even that helpful. You can't even teleport far enough to be like efficient at getting there rather than just moving with the bats. But I mean, obviously his Hellfire is fun. He is all around fun to play. I mean, a lot of people literally play just the wolf as just how they want to play the killer. That's it. They won't do any other part of the killer. Or they'll just be nice all game.
For me, Drac has a little bit of everything. Again, he is one of those killers that kind of maybe not all of his options are great in, you know, actual play, but he technically, the idea is there. The concept is there. He's got a little bit of everything going on. My best for him definitely has to be obviously Wolf, cuz who doesn't love Wolf? And this might not be something that a lot of people talk about, but oh my god. Do we all remember that Rift Pass where he was getting skins? Those two skins were so freaking dope. Dude doesn't have many skins, but the ones he has, pretty damn good skins. Worst part for him. So this is gonna be a little funny one. Worst part for him for survivors is when he got that Hellfire going on both exit gates, especially if you're a new player. But I don't think this is a worst for him himself. I think it's a pretty cool add-on. I honestly really do personally find that add-on to be very dope, and it would be kind of interesting to see this concept of that add-on kind of added to other killers down the road from now with their own special power. It would be kind of interesting to see something like this kind of continue down the road. Next up we have Houndmaster.
I like this killer. I don't play her that often, but I do enjoy playing her. It took me a couple tries on the adept though, and that was annoying because sometimes she can feel very underpowered. Her dog is very easy to miss, and that is her most obvious downside. It is so easy to dodge that dog, it is insane. You can dodge it in your sleep if the player isn't trash. I mean, a good thing though is, I mean, you can stop exit gates. You can pause that. You can stop an unhook. You can take someone off a gen that's about to pop. I mean, it's a very good ability. It's just really annoying how easy it is to stop.
So, for Houndmaster, best quality, dog. Just there's a dog, guys. Mind you, I recognize that the dog is buggy, and I don't feel like that was fair. Not to him, it wasn't fair. I feel sort of you can kind of feel to a certain extent that they might have just gonna like rush the Houndmaster release before like fully thinking out some thoughts, fixing some things. But yeah, no, I don't think she's horrible. I don't think she's great, unfortunately, due to some bugs. I think she's pretty eh. I would love to play her more often. Because dog, of course, there's a dog. But I don't know. I feel like, unfortunately, she's having the same thing happen to her that basically happened to Skull Merchant, where it's like their release and their first, like, couple of months out was just, it was too wonky. It was too weird feeling. So people are like, I'm just gonna forget about them. Alrighty, next up we have Ghoul.
My MMR is not high enough at the moment to go against Ghoul just about ever, and if I do, they're the worst player I've ever seen. But I don't see the killer, but I know Sheep. I dislike him for the fact that he just gets a free hit, basically guaranteed. He's an M1 killer with pretty much he's just able to get you exposed for like 2 pennies. It's not even that hard. He can do whatever he wants and still hit you through a wall or literally 20 feet above him in the air. It's insane.
So for me, my best is, oh my god, it's him. It's Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, I grew up as a teenager when I went through my anime phase. Definitely Tokyo Ghoul was one of my top anime / mangas. Worst thing is the fact that I saw a character who I liked previous to this game getting a bad rep, aka this basically kind of feels like a Legion playstyle. I'm very sad that people started promoting the basically Legion on another killer concept. It was just sad. It was like, come on, he's cool. Let's embrace his difference. Let's not just play him like freaking Legion. Anyways, on to Springtrap.
Okay. Since my MMR is low, I see this killer so often. So, I mean, the teleport, I genuinely don't think I ever see killers doing it aggressively anymore, so it's not that bad. I don't mind it anymore as much as I used to, even though they never did anything to it. But when I'm playing as him, I just love trying to hit shots with the axe. It's so much fun. It's different than Huntress, so you actually have to try something new. So it just feels genuinely fun.
For me, for Springtrap, I think the worst thing I have to say about this character was upon release, what the hell was that shit of him just going fully invisible? Not undetectable. No, kids. Fully invisible. I just, how does that even happen? I would be very interesting to see how a code does that to itself. For me, I don't really got much bad things besides that to say about Springtrap. I think we could have done more, if that makes sense. Like a full FNAF map would have really been the freaking shit. Like, let's be honest. That would have been crazy. I guess, okay. A potential worst thing about Springtrap was how much he broke the servers upon release. He like peaked the game in a peak that it has not seen in a very long time. And I remember having some times where like we would spend 30-40 minutes of just opening the game wouldn't load. It would say server unavailable and then just crash. So I guess maybe that would be another worst for him. This is not for him specific, I would say just the whole general concept in the whole chapter. First of all, super sad we didn't get a survivor. And I don't know about everyone else, and I understand. This would have been too hard to do, especially upon like releasing Springtrap. But I would have loved to see the other animatronics as killers as well. So, I don't know. So yeah, moving on to Karasu.
I was actually pretty excited for her at launch, and then I realized that it seems like more than half of the player base doesn't seem to understand how to play her at all. And when you play against someone who actually does, you get absolutely swept. It doesn't matter. Just 4-man Moried probably just for fun. But when it's a player who doesn't understand her, which is most of the time when you play against her, they just keep spraying you with the little like spit, and it doesn't matter. They'll just keep hitting you with it, and it won't ever actually do anything to you.
Yeah, for me, best thing. Okay, she got some really good marketing. She got a very, very, very cool concept. Her head form, again, I'm saying with the word concept, what it is supposed to do. It is very cool. It is very interesting. Her entire look, her entire character form, super cool. But I also have to agree with my co-host. In reality, when you see her in game, the coolness fades because most, and by most I mean like 98.9% of anyone who's ever played her in a public match has no flipping idea what the heck is going on, how to play her, how to get used to her, and all that. She is a very cool. Her power's very cool. It's just never. We haven't seen someone who could really, really bring her to her highest potential, if that makes sense. Alrighty, we're gonna go on over to Vecna the First.
Obviously, having recently watched Stranger Things all the way through, pretty much within like 2 weeks, something like that. We watched it incredibly fast. We destroyed that entire show. But I was actually, I saw this announcement. I thought that was the coolest thing ever because, I loved Demogorgon. I genuinely think he's very fun. This one, I am terrible at hitting shots with the undergrowth attack. I just can't. Every survivor seems to know exactly what my brain is thinking at all times, and they always guess what I'm doing. And I'm terrible at it. However, the Henry Creel skin, absolutely dope. The best skin ever. I love that so much.
Okay, I'm gonna start with my personal opinion of his worst things because I have way less worst things to talk about this character than I do best things. One of the worst things is we should have tried to get when survivors are interacting with the clock, we should have tried getting running up that hill. I know that probably would have been impossible and would have cost a lot of money, but it would have been pretty fun to have that. The other worst, and this is not basically him himself. My other worst is, guys, okay. Again, when he was announced that he was coming to DVD, before he was even close to PTV time, that's when I was like, okay, fine, I'll finally actually watch the show. Because, like, if he's coming to the game, like, I have to be a good DVD player. I gotta be informed. So I watched all 5 seasons. And I'm sorry. but the numerous amounts of so freaking cool maps based off of the show that we could have gotten in this damn game upon Vecna's release. Just astonishing. I'm sorry, I would have liked to see an actual map actually located in the Upside Down. I think that is one of the worst things they could have done, was not release an Upside Down themed map. Best. Alright. Okay. I can sit here and talk for at least 3 hours of how freaking awesome, how actually close to perfectly accurate the Henry Creole skin was. That shit is one of the best skins we've seen in this game in a while. That was one skin that I was like, I hadn't even come down. It was still in PTB, and I was like, take my money. You can't take my money fast enough to give me that skin. Give me the skin. I honestly also really love the voice lines. Oh, voice lines. The voice lines were actually so good. And I actually like that it's a killer that actually has pretty, like, okay frequent voice lines, and it's not like the same two voice lines the whole time. Another best is I really love how no matter what map you're on, he turns the sky red. That's such, honestly, the first time I saw that, I was like, that is such a simple thing, but in a way, it's such a cool thing, because, like, you're bringing an aspect of the Upside Down to all of DBD. All of DBD, just by getting into a match with one specific character. Another thing is, I love the huge variety of voice line interactions he has with survivors. We haven't seen this happen with any other killer. It's just honestly fun to see, like, when he's mooring different characters, and it's not even just like the 4 Stranger Things. He actually has other voice lines with other characters when he's mooring them. I also did like that he introduced the aspect of what we all like to call now the mini mori, where it's like you didn't even have to throw, iridescent mori, and you still get like a cute short little mori. Because sometimes I feel like throwing a whole mori offering, it kind of slows down your game, because some moris are like quite longer than other ones. So while you're mooring, you're kind of losing that pressure. But these moris are kind of quick and sweet.
Thank you for joining us here at Exploring the Entity. Remember to follow us on Spotify and Instagram at Exploring the Entity. Please make sure to head on over to this episode's description to find the link to our new website.
Also, check us out on the visual side on YouTube at Exploring the Entity DVD. Until next time, Deadlings, keep your eyes on the shadows, listen for the claws, because the fog doesn't just surround you, it waits for you.